Welcome to Australia!
Yes, so excited!
And welcome to Riviera.
We are at the largest shipyard in the Southern Hemisphere. We are on board of Riviera 6000. We actually got 2 Rivieras today. We've been invited by Riviera Yachts to come check out how they build it.
Jump in the golf cart.
Okay.
We've got a
Oh,
lot
golf.
to see and do today.
Where are we
Love it.
going?
Well, we're going to give you an exclusive behind-the-scenes factory tour.
First of all, what is your title with Riviera?
I'm the brand and communications director.
So Steven has been our point person that we've been planning this whole trip with, and he's got a whole jam-packed day of action planned for us.
We have. You are going to get to meet the head of each of our departments right across the business. So all of our experts from design all the way through to the final QC process. Big day, huge factory, and welcome to Australia. It's going to be a fun time.
Nice. Pick that up.
Saved by the bell.
All right, so first stop is new product and development, and we've got Dan and Dave
Morning, guys.
waiting
How
for
are
us
ya?
already. This is going to be one speedy tour. We have one day to see this huge factory. So we're going to go quickly, step by step, department to department. And you guys are in charge of,
New product development.
so maybe we get to see some new stuff.
All right, let's go check it out. What would be the logical order to go?
We're going to walk through the design office and just show you our CAD system, and then we'll show you some of the 5-axis plugs and molds that get created from that.
You look a little special with it. Neon yellow vest.
I like the vest.
So this is our design office.
Hello.
This is where all new product and existing product is designed and supported. So we've got a mixture of designers, naval architects, engineers, and tradespeople.
Everyone's
up
together.
here. Everyone's together, so
That's
everyone
good,
works
yeah.
together. Everyone's using the same 3D CAD system.
Okay.
So everyone's working concurrently on new products. We're probably working about 5 new models ahead of what you guys are aware of.
Oh, wow.
This is Brendan. Morning, Brendan.
Hey, how are
Hi,
you?
Brendan. How's it going? Victoria. Rico.
Nice to meet you.
So this is a 58 Sport Motor Yacht, which is obviously a model that's just about to be released. And all the different trades work on all the areas of the boat at the same time. They're all saving to one master assembly, so they can look at the particular area of the boat that they're designing and focusing on, and they can work and understand what the other guys are doing.
Everybody's got a different level of what they're developing, or how does this get passed down?
It's broken down into trades. So we've got interior designers,
Okay.
exterior designers, naval architects, engineers, and every single part of the boat is designed, and most of it is manufactured on site at Riviera.
Did you say you're 5 models ahead of what we know is existing?
Yeah, we're working on 5 new models.
And can we see them right now?
Brendan, what is your part that you do?
Primarily at the moment in exterior, which would be, I just turn a section off, help designing like the flybridge and hardtops.
And then that exterior, and we'll go on to talk about this in a moment, those files that are reviewed constantly until they're signed off in the computer, they then get sent for 5-axis machining, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with, and we'll be able to show you some of that on the shop floor. And what that means is that everything that's created in the computer is created to within 0.1 of a millimetre for plugs and molds.
Let's head out onto the floor. So, as you just saw up on the screen, this
Yes.
is the hardtop for
Oh,
the 58.
okay, that makes sense.
So this is the underside of the hardtop. There's the mold. So we've just taken the mold off this. So this has just been demolded. Over there we have the actual flybridge. It's in its molding process at the moment, getting its timber structure.
So we go plug, mold,
Mold.
and then product comes from the mold.
So
That came out
where's
of
the
this.
actual
Correct.
piece which came out?
There is no product because we make the tooling.
Now I get it.
Yes.
Yes.
Got it.
All
Okay.
the tooling.
Yeah.
So this is all what you're seeing upstairs on the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the millimetre. So it turns up to a raw, we sand it, we give it the high polish. Then we take our molds off it, and then that will go to production.
Makes
And
sense.
then
But it doesn't happen here.
No.
So why is that there then?
So that is the same as this,
That's the plug making the mold.
making the mold.
Uh-huh.
And then the mold goes to production. And then we support it. We have our department as well called NPI, New Product Introduction. So they follow the boat through the system, and they go for the first 5 boats. They're hands-on building the boat as well.
How long did it take you to get all the abbreviations down in the company? All the 3-4 letters of the departments? I would be so confused. PD, MDP, MD, like, woo!
So how many people roughly working in this department?
Yeah, on the floor here, we have 20 people, 25 upstairs in design and PI.
So you're non-stop working on molds, plugs. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
like creating
Constant.
Flat out all
the
the
molds.
time.
Wow.
Yeah. A week ago, the 585 deck plug was sitting here.
Ah.
We just removed it. We got a new one coming in, so it's perfect timing. You don't get to see it. Sorry.
Ah. What else can you show us?
We got the seat up here for the 585. We can have a look at that.
Okay, so this is the 585 cockpit. Okay.
Yes. So this is the last piece remaining. So this was the rest
Oh,
of the
okay,
boat.
wait, I get it.
So
yes.
this is the cockpit, this is what's left.
Yeah.
And we are working on a nice big deep seat for storage, potentially 2 sea bobs in here.
So
dive
this is
tanks,
the development of this seat.
That's right.
So
This
once
is-
you guys figure it out in this,
This is craftwood, MDF.
yeah. So
it's
once you figure out in that, it goes and becomes.
a mold.
a
We'll
mold.
take
Mold.
mold off that. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
we'll paint all this, make it look like it's finished in the dark grey, and then we'll take our production molds off.
You're gonna fit 2 C-bobs in here?
Yes, 2 sea bobs, they sit sideways. Drain plug in it, fresh water, be able to rinse them, store them, pump the water overboard.
So this is basically similar to what we've seen on like some super yachts where back in the days they used to build the mock-up rooms.
Yeah,
So
kind
this
of.
is basically like a development of
yeah.
that, and then once you're happy with it, then you mold it. Very cool. I've never
Brilliant
seen that
idea, by the
before.
way.
The C-Bob
Oh yeah.
storage, yeah.
Because like, the salt is killing everything. Like if you can desalt it and store it nicely, I think it would be amazing.
Trickle charger in there as well.
Perfect.
Fast charge will be in the cockpit, so you don't have to bring them all the way in.
Yeah.
Be able to charge them on the swim platform, throw them back in the water.
Well, we took out the
585
yesterday, and I saw like there was a breaker, you know, for the dinghy charger, and I was like, brilliant. Like, why doesn't every boat have that?
Thank you guys
Thank you.
showing us
No
behind
worries.
the scenes.
So even the 78 mold was made in here.
Everything comes from
Is
here.
it long enough to build in? Yeah. Barely, right?
Just.
Barely.
You guys must be
So-
really fast getting them.
So what
getting
about
them
all
out.
the bigger models in the future, if you guys go bigger? Also made in here,
Yes.
or do you guys have to extend?
No.
No?
And
You
look,
can
Look
fit
who
it?
he's fishing to see if you have a bigger model.
Whatever fits in the
Nice.
shed, that's
He nearly fell for it.
Whatever fits in the
Guys,
shed.
yes. Back to the golf cart. Are you Dan?
I'm Dan.
Perfect.
Good to meet you.
Victoria, this is Rico.
Nice to meet you.
Meet you, mate.
Nice to meet you.
Strong handshake.
Yes, good handshake.
I'm up now, like I'm awake now.
Good to hear. Anyway, welcome to Laser World.
Hang on a second. We will come back to Laser World in a little bit. Let's check out digital kitting first.
Okay, so we're walking into.
This is digital kitting now, Shed 26. Okay?
Kitting is in kit, K-I-T?
Correct,
Kitting.
yes.
Not like as in kidding. Digital kitting.
Kitting.
Just kidding.
All right, so again, investment in technology. This side of the business here, not very old again. So in here we've got one Biesi CNC router, a multicam CNC router. This one here traditionally does the timber ply kits for all your structural stuff, so your hulls, your decks, your hard tops, fly
Okay.
bridge. It does girders as well for us, so your foam girders, this material here.
Oh god.
That's also cutting for
The lamination
the
guys.
lamination. So this
Yep.
cuts for the lamination
Correct.
process.
This area here is 99% for lamination.
For lamination, okay.
So the multicam CNC router, this cuts infusion foam.
Oh yeah,
Core.
check that out. Oh, that
So-
all makes sense now. It's
All
coming
done with
together.
traditional router bits. And over the back, we have our Eastmans. This Eastman 2 does 6mm core and leather most of the time.
You guys
This-
are also cutting leather
correct.
in-house.
Correct.
If this machine is cutting two different things,
Mm-hmm.
completely different things. It cuts leather for the upholstery, and then it's all for the helmet, right?
Yep.
And then it also cuts this for lamination.
Correct. Yes.
How does that schedule work? Like, who assigns that? When does this machine come? For what department?
So this side we're working with the digital kitting supervisor,
Yeah.
Jesse. We all have a rolling schedule that's
Yeah.
developed, and then we make sub-schedules off that. Using triggers, this kit might be due 4 days prior to the start of lamination on our rolling schedule, and we'll sort it all that way. I do the scheduling in the timber world over the other side. Again, I take the rolling schedule that Kyle generates and Shane, break that down into a sub-schedule with all my different triggers. So it might be a week into lamination, I'll cut the fit out 1 kit.
Wow.
And then, 2 weeks prior to fit out 2, we'll do the fit out 2 raw kit.
So scheduling is a huge part
Massive.
of this because
Massive.
it's so many different parts
Yep.
and it's different departments.
Yeah.
All
They all have to come together at the right stage.
sounds really complicated. That's pretty crazy. So it's not like you get a block of like, okay, they have it today and then a different department has a different day. It's within the same day.
Yep.
You will have different.
Just got to move it all around. Big chess game.
Wow,
So-
that is a lot.
Okay, down the back we've got Eastman 1.
They all have names. I would name them all something personal.
I'm gonna call this Frank
this
from
is
now
Bob,
on.
This is Frank. This is Bob.
That's all fiberglass here,
Yes,
mats.
correct.
Fiberglass mats.
Oh,
So
okay.
again, we're using what's essentially a pizza cutter, same as Eastman 2.
Pizza cutter.
That's held down by pneumatic pressure
Uh-huh.
into the table. This table is actually under vacuum as well, so it will hold the glass down. This gets pressed down by pneumatic, and then it runs around and will cut all the parts out. Again, all generated by CAD, sent out here and nested.
So this is also for lamination
Yes, correct.
So nobody's sitting there
and
with
cutting.
the scissors
cutting.
Not anymore.
and cutting it
Not
off by
anymore.
hand.
Not anymore.
Wait, how many machines do you have in here?
4 in here.
4.
And then on top of that, I've also got another CNC router on the other side of that wall for timber, and another 2 CNC routers over that side of town
Oh,
as well.
wow, that's a
And then
lot.
the laser machine. So
Wow.
that's a lot of money in technology.
Yeah,
like I keep saying.
absolutely. You're able to do it all in-house, which makes a
Correct.
huge difference. Also, quality control.
So, exactly.
And how does it work with your department in terms of quality? Is it a separate kind of a sub-department
Nah,
just
it's
doing quality control?
On the operator.
On operator.
The operator has to be trained so
Yeah.
they understand what they're looking at, and anything that's substandard gets pulled right at that time.
Got it. And then it easily
Reworked,
redo,
yep.
which is
Exactly.
Yeah, which is the beauty of having your own machine.
All right.
So let's go find Judd, who is, I think, lamination something manager. We're gonna ask him.
Something.
I know it's Judd, and he's gonna show us around.
Yes, it is.
Are you Judd?
Yes,
We're looking for Judd.
I'm Judd. How are you?
Victoria, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What's your official title?
Lamination Infusion Manager.
Oh, I was close, real close.
Real close?
Almost
Good one.
nailed it.
Almost.
It's not my specialty. So show us around. What do you guys do here?
Welcome. Yeah, this is our new lamination shed. So this shed here is about 130 metres long, 30 metres deep, and it does all of our hulls and decks from 60 feet all the way up to 78 feet. So that's around 4 of our different model lines all catered in here. So you can see down on the western end of the facility, we've got all of our deck moulds for our various models from a 60 right up to 78 down the other end. And then we've got matching hulls. So these are all of our hulls which are getting laminated as well. Bathrooms, liners and all the rest of it. The lamination department as a whole is around 300 to 350 staff. All the components for all Riviera boats are built on site at the facility. We've got a few small off-site contractors which build some smaller parts for us and bring them in via car and truck and stuff. But for the most part, everything's built on site, yeah. So I'm one of 3 managers for lamination. My responsibilities are all the hulls and decks over 60 feet, everything from the window line up, which is all infused, a lot of the structural bulkheads, and then a lot of the smaller components that are all infused as well. The other 2 managers, so one takes care of all the hulls under 60 feet, as well as all the fuel tanks and a bunch of the small components. One of the other managers takes care of all the decks which are 60 feet under, as well as all the gel coat and a lot of the paint work and everything as well. So between the 3 of us, all the fiberglass is divvied out and we build it on a daily basis, yeah.
They got to point this
Is
out.
that tools?
These are all tools
Wow.
and everything has its place.
So yeah, shadow board for all the tools, just to make sure we've got everything. Obviously we're part way through a shift at the moment, so there's a bit of stuff out. They're getting used.
They're
They're out
getting
on the
used,
table,
yeah.
Okay.
Midway through being used, so yeah. We've got various products at various stages. The QC book follows the product through, goes through all the different checks. Now, it's just basically following best practice for whatever the product or material is that we use. We partner really, or we rely a lot on our suppliers to make us aware of what QCs go with their products. And then we just follow that to the T. A lot of different people, a lot of industry knowledge as well. We've got a bunch of people here that have been with the company 30 plus years.
Wow.
So a lot of that knowledge that we've got from doing it for 40 years, we have a lot of apprentices. We've got a great training program. I have been through that program. I started my apprenticeship a long time ago. I was an apprentice in 1996. and finished in 2000. That was my first trade, so I'm a boat builder by trade. Back then a composite technician wasn't a trade, so I have only just recently been signed off. In the last 3 months I did another apprenticeship and got recognised prior learning, and I've now been signed off as a composite technician as well. So I hold dual trades.
I know the lamination process creates a lot of heat.
Yes,
So
yep.
this seems like it's climate control.
It is, yeah.
It
so
is.
We have one of the biggest systems in the Southern Hemisphere. Can't remember exactly the stats on it. It's something like 18,000 litres or something like that per hour gets cycled through. So we have cooling on the roof through water cooling. It's not air conditioning, but it is cooling system.
Like a swamp cooler.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we also have heating up there as well. So we have gas heating for winter time as well. So we would have had the gas heaters on this morning to get all of our moulds and all of our product up to temperature. We're sort of mid-morning now, so the guys will transfer over onto the cooling system.
What is this right
Yeah,
now?
what is this?
What are we looking at
So
here?
guys, this is a 72-foot deck. The guys have just finalised putting what we call a cover over it. We've done our gel and tie layer. We've put all of our structural core and everything onto the deck. We've now put a cover layer over the top of that. Now we have a structural team will come through, install all the bulkheads, install all the timbers, aluminium pads and all the rest of it. We're in the process of manufacturing the headliner, which is down there on a mould, which will get flipped over, inserted into the mould, adhered into the mould, and then we fit all of our heads, our bathroom liners and all the rest of it get assembled. We've then got a trolley, which is like a build jig. It gets flipped over, we put that onto the top of the deck and we use that to demould the deck, take it over, and it continues to flow through the manufacture process.
So where does the stuff go from here?
Next step after this, it goes into a trim bay, so it gets cut out. We have various templates, measurements, booklets, and all the rest of it on how it gets trimmed. It will then go into details, so every inch of the gel coat will get checked over, QC checked, and if there is any need, we'll get it reworked or repaired. We then cover the product in a protective film, and it goes into production, then go through the assembly process is basically where it goes from there, yeah.
Are these cranes?
We've got 3 cranes in here, 10 tonne per boom. We build the decks upside down.
Yes.
We then demould them and we use the 3 cranes to flip the product over, put it onto the ground and then continue through production.
Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we're on to the next. Thanks for showing us around.
No problem, lovely to meet you.
You should be proud of this beautiful shed.
I am very
It's
proud.
quite nice.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
So you guys just pretty much started using it, right?
We've had the keys for I think around 7 months, 7 or 8 months.
Yeah. That's
We've
amazing.
been manufacturing a lot in here so far. We've got a lot of boats out so far for that time frame. So yeah, the guys are doing an awesome job.
Really cool.
All right, well, stay naughty. We'll see you later.
See you later, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
And here's Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Morning, how are you?
Good. How are you?
So far, it's been super interesting. Your next step, lamination.
Lamination. So up this end of town, we do all our fuel tanks, we do our decks, and we do our hulls.
So show us what you guys do.
Okay, so over here we've got our fuel tanks basically. All these things are solid fiberglass, they're a vinyl ester, they're a fire retardant, chemical resistant resin that we lay these up with. You'll see the moulds in the mould shop, all aluminium. Basically, we have probably 3-4 tanks a week. Solid, no core, anything like that.
So all the tanks are part of the hull, basically.
Yeah, they
They're like a
all
secondary-
play a part. Be a weight distribution, those sort of things. It's all engineered where these fuel tanks go and how they're positioned in the boats. They're all solid fiberglass. There's no core or anything like that, as I said.
No rust possibility, no.
No,
it's-
nothing like that. And like I said, they're fire retardant. They're chemical resistant.
It says 60 on it.
This,
I
this
assume
one
it is.
here is for a 60 sports yacht.
Got it.
And you'll see all, like the fittings, all the timber pads and that we fix to, they're all secondary bonded, so they're added after, which obviously try and avoid leaks or any sort of penetration, I guess, from diesel. So in a 60 sports yacht, this would be under the master cabin bed.
And that's towards the engine room?
That's towards the engine room, yeah. They're the senders and your filler port.
Yeah.
Your pickups are obviously at your lower point of the tank.
This seems pretty large, actually. I mean, that's a big tank.
Yeah, well, they're designed to go offshore and have a decent range, so absolutely.
So the 505 or the 50 SM, like that's a 3,500 litre capacity tank.
This one here?
This one's closer to your 5.
And in all these different shapes, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, well, like I said, they're all stationed into a hull, sort of keeping in mind the weight distribution, those sort of things. It's all a balancing act.
Oh, there comes the hulls. Finally, we're getting somewhere.
That's it. So
We're getting
this is where we
somewhere.
turn a liquid into a solid. Like the hull rocks up in a 44-gallon drum, and 10 to 15 days time, we've got a hull sitting on a trolley.
So this came out already.
Yeah, this one's released, so this is a 46 SY.
What happened to this leftover parts
So
here?
the way this is moulded, it's a split mould. So as opposed to the traditional, the older style moulds that we had, all the windows and that were a plant join. So to alleviate that and save the work for the detail and to try and get that cosmetic finish, we go into a split mould. So it gives us one join line from the front to the back, and to release a hull, it's on a hydraulic lift system, and the hull separates in two, and you lift the finished part out of the mould.
So we always talk about the seaworthiness of Rivera yachts. So I'm looking at the hull shape. It is such a deep V, similar seen on sport fishing yachts, where they're actually built and made to go through heavy seas. This is really going to cut really, really well through big seas. So that's one of the signatures of Rivera yachts.
These are blue water boats.
Yep.
They're not S3 boats.
Nice and warm
Nice
in
and warm,
here.
it's nice and warm.
Yeah,
So-
you feel it right away.
So it's all temperature controlled. Obviously we got the perfect temperature, 24 degrees. That's what we try and maintain the shed at. Too cold, it takes too long for things to cure. And if it's too hot, things go off on us too quick and we end up chasing a tail.
24, that's what I like.
24.
That's my perfect temperature.
This is a mould that hull was just released
Yeah.
out of, and like I said, it's a two-piece mould. You've got the join line that runs from the bow all the way down to the stern. It gives us a nice finish around your window plants. It saves you hours in detailing and trying to get that cosmetic finish back. So to release this side here is hooked up to a hydraulic ram. It falls away and it allows the part to come out of the
Oh,
mould to
really
release.
cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing how deep this goes in there actually.
Yes.
If you would want to explain the process, you wax this.
Yeah, the mould's gone over with a seal and a release agent. That's after every pull to ensure the part comes out, obviously. And then the guys will go through. The first stage will be a gel coat and a tie lay. And then they'll work their way back through the laminate. We call it the shell of a hull. 6 to 7 days for that. And then we'll go through and we'll add all the substructure and all the engine bearers, those sort of things. Everything in this shed's on a 10 to 15 day build cycle. So that's from gel coat to releasing a finished part out of the mould.
So instead of lifting the mold out this way, you fold
Yeah.
these out
Yeah,
and the
so
mold
the
stays.
mould separates and the part comes out because obviously
I love it.
So how often can you reuse the molds?
we've got two 46 SY hull moulds. We're up to hull number 39, 40. As long as the moulds are looked after, like, we'll get a few years out of these. It all comes down to the maintenance and preventative maintenance.
How many holes you currently have in the build?
So there'll be 4 in the building here. Across the way in shed 2, we've also got another couple of holes on the go as well. So we've got another 3 hull moulds on that side.
And it's constantly.
It's constant. It's
I mean,
very rare to see
for
a
now-
mould empty.
You guys stay busy.
There's plenty of work, yeah.
Oh, I have a question actually.
Yes.
About the cranes and getting the molds out. So do they have to kind of like mold in some lifting points? How do they do that?
There are lifting bulkheads that are tied into the hull,
Yeah.
which gives us the strength that we need to release the thing and to hold the weight.
What do they attach the crane to?
Or I'll see if. Hey, Dion. So on this side here, we've got our 54 SY, we've got our second 46 SY hull mould, and then we've got our little baby 395 down the end, which is getting released now.
Oh, perfect timing. Look at that.
Look at that.
All the lifting bulkheads, they're all glass in and incorporated into the hull.
So it is like a holes and then you put that through and that's how it's getting lifted.
And then we go up.
Okay, yeah, I've
Yeah.
never seen that before. That makes a lot of sense.
All your floors, you've got your engine bearers. This thing will come out and the guys will finish glassing the floors, they'll flow coat it, they'll make it all nice and pretty, and then it's ready for engineering.
What is this gonna roughly weigh? Any idea?
That's a really good question.
Yeah? Just
Hang on,
curious.
let me get Dion. 2,900 kilos.
Just to put it in perspective, because I'm like, you don't know what it weighs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything is glassed in, huh? It's
Yeah.
all glassed in, like
All
with one
glassed
piece.
in.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
There's 5 moulds in this shed, 54 and down, 54 sport shot and smaller. Everything in here is on a 7 to 10 day build. So it means from gel coat to finished on a trolley releasing, 7 to 10 days.
Wow, that's fast.
That's fast.
What are these guys spraying in there right now?
So that's the vinyl ester resin, and they're doing a tie lay on that. So they gel coated that at 4 a.m. this morning, and then they'll go through, they'll tie lay all that, and that'll be the lamination process done for today. You can't do any more than that. Then they'll come back, they'll do a cover, they add all their cores, all their high density foams, and then like the hull, they shell it. And then the team of woodies will come along behind the guys, and they'll add all the structural timber, all the bulkheads, all the alloy for your fixings before we go through and we add the headliner and the bathrooms to it.
It's like a well-oiled machine here.
It's a beat of the drum, we call it. Everything's got a process, and we need to maintain that rhythm.
It's a well-laminated machine.
It is. So at the same time, the decks are getting laminated in there. The headliners and the bathrooms are getting laminated out here.
Oh, okay, got it. So it's a separate team working on
So
that.
this is all your saloon floors,
Yeah.
your bathroom ceilings, those sort of things. And then you've got a bathroom module over the back there.
Do the people rotate, or they generally just stay with?
These guys have their crews, and
Yeah.
they all work as a crew. So out here there's a crew of 6. Inside there's a crew of 12 laminators.
So they're always doing those parts, and these guys always doing
Always
these
doing
parts.
these.
Okay.
That way there's consistency. We're more likely to get the same product every time.
Yeah. So I've been learning a bunch of new words. So
Yep.
QC, right?
QC,
Quality control.
quality control.
How does it work within this department? Is there separate people? Is it based
No,
on
so we've
per
got
team?
inline checks that we do. Obviously we work to drawings. We go through, we do all our own inline checks. And then at the end of lamination, so that's after a part's come off the mould and it's gone into composite repair, we call it. So that's where they go through and they get us the surface finish that Riviera hold themselves
Got
so
it.
highly on. Blemish-free, gel coat, look amazing from your dock. And at the end of that process, there's another handover process, which the QC team are involved in that. We go over the boat, we make sure that everything's Mickey Mouse before it moves on to the next stage of
Got
production.
it. So when you say we, you're part of the team?
I'm involved in that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So the managers are a part of that.
Yeah, well, we like to say we're accountable for the parts that we send out as
Got it,
managers.
okay.
There is a QC team
Yeah.
that comes through and they'll go through, mark up bits and pieces and make sure that everything's fit for purpose.
Chris, thank you so much.
No,
we really
thank you.
appreciate your time, and
No
we'll
worries.
see you later.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, Stephen, where are we going next?
We're jumping in the golf cart.
Thanks, Chris.
No worries, thank you.
Bye. Thank you for the
See you,
tour.
mate.
Thanks, Chris.
Wayne, Victoria, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
This is Rico.
Hey,
Rico. How are you?
Good to meet you.
Closed?
Mold specialist.
What does it mean closed? Why is it closed?
So you are essentially putting a vacuum bag on top, so there's no wet lay laminates going in. All your laminates is closed underneath a bag or
understand.
another half of a mould.
All right, Dwayne, show us around.
We'll follow you.
Okay. So here's a part that's already been infused. This is a finished part. This has been under vacuum, had its resin injected in, cured, and now it's getting the final bits of lamination done that we do by hand lay, ready to get the other half joined on top.
Got it. Okay.
The hand laid stuff, is it just to stiffen out certain areas or make them stronger? Or?
Yeah, and for landing pads for when that gets joined to it, so like it'll have bonding paste on top of there,
okay.
so that's
Got
where
it.
it'll touch on that half. So around the perimeter,
Yeah.
along any of the bulkheads that are being glassed, around the sunroofs, we'll have a structural adhesive that sticks the two parts together. Here's one that we're just fitting the foam and the timbers into and then starting the mats over wood. So you've got a 3-stage process, so you'll put wet lay, gel coat and your tie layer, and then you put a nice big dry lay mat, then your foam core, and then you go over the top again with some more dry layer mat.
You do all sorts of sizes?
So I believe we're the only shed that caters for all 9 boat lines in this
Okay.
shed. So for fly bridges and hard tops, every product we make goes onto a boat out there. So yeah.
So basically, any boat that's coming out, a part of it has been in this ship.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah. Whether it be swim platforms or hard tops or fly bridges.
some part of a boat.
Yeah.
is
So
gonna
we
been
try
in
and
here.
tend to do from above the window line up. So we're trying to take weight out of the boat up high. So this is them just taking the vacuum bag off now.
Perfect timing.
After it's infused and cured for more than 24 hours, preferably up to like 36 hours, then we start taking this off. You have a certain amount of consumables that aren't reusable. They get taken off and then you're left with essentially exactly how that looks is how this will look before then it gets joined together.
For this process, for them to be joined together from the beginning to the end, how long does it take? from both of them being ready and then them doing together?
Gel coat and tie layer takes
Yeah.
a day, 2 days to pack it and infuse. So then 4 days on something that size, from an empty mould
Yeah.
to a finished product going into detail, 3 and 4 days.
3 or 4 days. That's pretty fast, actually. Makes sense how you guys just get the boats out so much.
Bigger ones are obviously a little bit longer, a fly bridge, so that will take a little bit longer. There's a bit more work goes into them.
So how do you lift this out now?
You put this half on top of that one,
Yeah.
let it cure for the 24 hours, and then you release the mould. Release
you
the
take
mould
the
off.
mold out. Well,
Yep,
let's show that
yep.
one. That's easy to see right there.
This has been joined. If you have a look underneath, don't put your hands in. You'll see the two parts of there are joined together. We take the bottom half out with the top half, clamp it on, take it to a trolley. So we'd put a trolley here,
Yeah.
put it on the trolley, and then release the top half of the mould off. That leaves the finished product to go out and then get trimmed and
It might be a stupid
detailed.
question, but how do you release the top part?
With the cranes again, so you'd put wedges in the top there and
Yeah.
then release it down.
Does it come out fairly easy? Or
Yeah, yeah.
It needs to be waxed really well.
Yeah, before every gel coat we wax and make sure that there's a release agent on there.
So that takes this part, and then what, does it get flipped around, and then
we
the
get-
next one?
And then we start again, yes.
Yeah.
Especially on not the
you
this
learn
line.
something new every time. That's amazing.
So you're non-stop going?
Non-stop, yeah.
Non-stop.
So, like I said, where we've got all 9 boat lines that come through here, so that's a 645, and then that will get built, and then the next mould will come in for
Yeah.
the next boat. So we've never really got
This
the
is
same.
never empty.
Never.
What's the most amount of molds you've seen in this space?
We're not far off it now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so almost full. You're almost full. Okay.
So once this gets released here, this will be back open, and we'll have another one going.
Next
So
one
then
going
you'll have
here.
10 moulds in process.
Wow, really cool.
Where does the part go from here?
So then goes to detail, so it gets any excess flashing that around the part gets
Yeah.
trimmed off, and then goes to detail for surface finish. We pride ourselves on our surface finish here. So it gets detailed, and then once it's detailed, if it's going to paint, it'll get paint. If it's a gel coat finish, then it'll go
Then
on
it's
to,
good to go.
on to fit out
Yeah.
one. Yeah. So one of the good things about Infusion, obviously, is it's lighter, stronger, and a lot more durable for the length of the lifespan of the boat.
So basically everything above deck goes
yeah,
is
above the window line at the moment now.
anything above the window line is vacuum infused.
So our bulkheads in the hulls and floors are infused for extra strength and lightness within the hull.
I wonder what these spots are for.
So we use that for when we turn it over, that'll help not let it drop out. We also put clamps on to clamp it into place as it's upside down so it doesn't fall
So it
out.
doesn't fall out, yeah.
Yeah.
So you got a couple of spots, right?
Yeah,
I
so
see,
we
like,
have
yeah.
normally like 6 to 8 on each one, just
Yeah.
for safety purposes.
Thank you so much for showing it to
No
us.
worries, thank you very much.
Pretty amazing thing you going here, so appreciate it.
Enjoy the rest
See
of
ya.
your week.
You too, see ya.
So Stephen, where are we going next?
We're off to teak decks now.
Teak decking. You guys do all your own teak?
Yep.
Oh, in-house. Nice.
It's all laid on the bench, that's why it's perfect, and then it's installed into the boat.
Stephen has tasked us to try to figure out how many boats do they have currently in the build. By the end of today, there's going to be a quiz, and we're going to try to guess. And whoever is closest, what do we get though?
You get a surprise at the end of the tour.
You get lunch. No, I'm just kidding. There's no way we're going to guess right.
So we have our own maintenance department here. So they are tasked with keeping everything moving, because there's a lot of moving parts here, as you can imagine. So here we are. Teak
Okay,
decks.
perfect. Are you Justin?
Yes.
We're looking for Justin.
Yeah,
Victoria, Rico.
Rico, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see
So this is where the teak magic happens.
It is, yeah, it is. Okay,
where are we
so
at?
start of the process, we have every boat that gets released, we build a template. Because we're building so many of them, we make them a hard template. Is that going to be too noisy?
That's fine.
Is all right?
Yeah, it's all good.
Because we're building so many of them, having
So Justin is literally like halting the work because there was so much happening because of the noise. We're gonna do this quick so you guys can resume and be on schedule.
For the people who are watching this,
Yes.
to make it really easy to understand, template meaning plywood, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So obviously we're making so many models and these boats are going all around the world. Now, if a customer overseas has an issue, they want something replaced, we can just replicate that part.
So if we're making a solid timber ply template, it just gives us that chance to make things more accurate consistently. So that's where we take the
So
time.
that's per model.
Per model,
Okay.
yeah. So every time we release a new model, we'll make a full set of templates and then we'll store them. Now those models will last a few years before they sort of start to fade out, and then we will reduce, you know, the ply to a bit of a smaller section, but we will still keep some templates for sales later on, or warranty work and stuff like that.
For everybody who doesn't know how that actually works with the teak decking, walk us just quickly through the work steps, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
But
sure.
Everyone knows it's very labor intensive, but I don't think a lot of people actually understand what that means. What
Yeah,
is
sure.
the labor intense aspect of this?
So as you can see here, we have kits that we try and save a lot of time by pre-cutting everything. So when we order our kits, and we're doing a swim platform at the moment for a 54 Sport Shot.
Okay.
Everything here that we have, it's not cut to size, but it's cut close enough so we can save a lot of that labor time out of it. Now, as you can see, the guys have started to plank out this deck here. Now, every cut that they do, every board, a board, say this size, it's roughly going to consist of about 90 to 100 boards. Now, they're going to cut that at each end, so straight away that's 200 cuts. That's if they cut it on the line on the first time, so that's probably not going to happen. So you times that by 4, you're looking at, you know, 800 cuts roughly to do a swim platform.
Wow.
So that's where the labour sort of comes into it. But once they finish building this, onto our next stage, which is behind us, which you can see this is a finished product. So this is where all the cutting's been done, all the margins are in place, and then we're just left with the part where we're sealing now to start the caulking process.
That's a sealant?
Yeah, so teak timber's naturally very oily, so the caulking traditionally doesn't really want to stick to it over time, it will want to release. So we use a sealer, so what that does is the sealer sticks to the timber and then the caulking actually sticks to the sealer. Just creates a bit more longevity in the teak.
So it looks like all the frameage is like screwed down by screws and it gets wood plugs in them?
Yeah, correct. So
and everything on the inside, like how's it fixed?
So right now it's just sitting in there, so we can literally pull out every individual plank. Like that. It's not until the caulking goes in there that it's going to hold everything together.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different processes in way like teak is manufactured. This is the way we do it to suit our production, but there are other options as well to do that as well.
So interesting.
Yeah, so the teak, once it's caulked and everything's stuck together, it'll get trimmed, and that's what we saw up the other end here.
Awesome.
So we always allow, when we're doing the caulking, just to go a little bit heavier what it normally would, just so it can shrink back in size. We're left with a finished product which is ready to be trimmed and sanded.
Wow, this is so crazy.
So this is all done by hand?
Yeah, we have air caulking guns.
So you don't have to
we
we
don't.
Popeye? Yeah.
We don't have Popeye for us, no. So this one here is probably a little bit thicker than normal, but on average, you know, you want to have nice, fairly consistent lines. Every now and then you get a bit of a blowout where it just goes a little bit nuts.
Yeah. And then how do you take this off?
So we use a multi-tool that has a trimming device on it that we use. So it's just a blade, and that just allows us to trim it nice and flat. That's what a trimmed board will start to look like. So you can see that it's relatively flat now. It's ready to be sanded.
You sand down also the wood obviously a little bit so you get the natural teak again?
Yeah, so you can see that the sealer is shown here. You can see that the color, it looks like it's semi-painted. Once we push it into the booth, it'll get sanded and it'll start coming out like this.
But you still have a little bit of the richness, I think, in there, right?
Yeah,
potentially.
So it'll seal a little bit, but once you sort of go through that top layer, it starts to come down. We are left with some pinholes and stuff like that, so the guys will go through.
So what happens to that?
What you can see that they're doing now is they'll make an incision cut it out a little bit bigger, and then refill that, and then it will get sanded back.
That is what you're saying.
Yeah.
This tiny little thing there, or this tiny little thing
So
there.
that's part of the quality control. So literally going through it and finding every little piece.
I mean, you cannot even see this.
We see it, so we figure it should be probably filled.
I mean, you don't want to have the moisture going underneath, right?
Yeah, sure. Like, it's quality at the end of the day.
So once this is completely finished, right?
Yeah.
How do you get this off the template?
It's just screwed in, but this is actually quite loose. As soon as those screws come out, it's loose.
And then you just transfer it over to the piece of fiberglass wherever it needs to go.
We just transfer it straight over.
And glue it down.
Yeah. We put like a wax on here prior to building it. You can't feel it there at the moment.
But it's super smooth.
Yeah. You can sort of feel that there's a bit of roughness through there from where the sealer is sort of seeped through a little bit, but it's not enough to stick down or anything like that.
This is so fascinating. I had no idea that you guys do this. This is absolutely insane.
Yeah, if we leave the hole too small, we really won't fill it. Air will get trapped underneath it, and then you'll just keep applying and sanding and keep applying and sanding and never close it up.
Speaking of labor intensive, this is crazy.
Okay, so just estimation-wise, for this specific piece, the entire process, how long?
So generally what we do is, because we've got a team, we produce roughly about 50 square meters, just under 50 squares of finished decking every week. So
50 square meters a week.
yeah, and that's building, that's sanding, that's installing, so that's the whole process.
So you guys also install it on the piece of fiberglass? Got it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
We have a couple of pieces that are getting ready to go down. These are like some of the smaller pieces that we use. This is the back of them. So
oh, beautiful.
It'll be sanded to, I would say, probably about 90% in the stage in there. And then once it gets installed, then it's going to get that final sand, final detail where it's 100%.
So another thing which I didn't know, even if the client decides not to have the non-skid and have teak, I didn't know it actually gets grinded down.
Yeah, so that's just a system we like to use. So there's a couple of different methods when applying teak. You can use a caulking, which is just like a Sika-based product, like a Seal and Flex, which will get stuck down. But over time, you'll find on a bigger section, it will start to release. Water and moisture can get underneath it. You can kind of get that squelchy feeling underneath your feet. So we chose to do the different option where we use an epoxy glue.
Okay.
So we'll take back the non-skid on it, which is one over there.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow, yeah, you're really taking it down.
And then that allows the epoxy to really seep into that and then really holds tight with our timber.
That's a whole different extra step, basically.
Yeah.
that-
Yeah.
That's incredible.
We get a lot of customers coming back, say 8-10 years later, with their teaks ready for like a rejuvenation. The parts that have been glued down, you can tell it's a lot harder to get that up. You know, there's other boats come back that have maybe some sickered parts that were down, you know, and they come up straight
That's
away.
easy,
Comes right up.
Straight up. So
Yeah, I could see, I mean, this is, obviously, it's a labor-intense work step, but
It makes all the difference.
oh yeah, it's gonna glue like 10 times better than on the shiny non-skid gel coat.
You know, same again, the customer's got the choice at the end of the day if they want to have teak or they want to have non-skid. You know, at least if they've got non-skid on the part, it's good to go. If they want teak, we'll just get rid of it and put teak
Yeah,
on
and
it.
put the teak on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We have actually completely finished swim platform outside, right?
So yeah, we have the finished one, yeah. This is, we would say, it's nearly 100% complete. All we have to do is just do a final fitment of the hatch. We'll give it a last final inspection, maybe a silicone wipe around there, and then that's it. You can see with the floor that we have here, even after a final inspection,
Really?
we'll find another couple of holes that we'd rather just cover up and
Wow.
makes that right.
This
So-
is really impressive. I mean, that's like a quality control level I've yet to see. It's very impressive.
It is a couple of times that we have to do it and just, you know, keep putting the touch-ups
Make
in,
sure it's perfect.
you know, but at the end of the day, when the customer gets their boat, there's nothing wrong with it, you know, it's 100% by that time.
Do all the parts that get teak, they all come here, get put teak on, or is anything gets put on somewhere else and they're
Yeah.
larger?
So if you see behind you, that's a template for the 78 mezzanine floor.
Okay.
Now,
That's huge.
That's huge. We
Yeah.
can barely fit that through our shed doors, so that part in itself, that's installed on the boat because they're just too big, you know.
So you guys are gonna come to it, and
Yeah.
is it sectional?
Yeah. So we'll keep it together for as long as possible, just
Yeah.
because timber with the moisture, it'll expand and contract. So we'll hold it together right to the day. On the day, we'll cut it up into say 3-4 pieces, then we carry it in the big pieces, fit
And then
it down.
install it
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah. And then we'll fill in the join lines and redo the touch-ups again and another set of quality control. Do everything that we do in here, but on the boats out there.
Is it actual teak?
It's real teak, yeah.
And it's farmed?
It's farmed, yeah, it's sustainable. You know, a product that is getting harder and harder to get. We know that. The future for Riviera, we're putting in place Permateak option. which is the synthetic teak. We've already done a few boats with that now. For the meantime, we've still got, you know, plenty of product.
Well, synthetic teak is getting better and better.
It is, yeah.
I think it's really starting to get to the point that it looks like teak.
Yeah, I think like long term,
You think it's the
probably.
future?
It has to be,
Yeah.
you know, we can't keep cutting down trees all the time. And teak's going to run out, all the cost of it's going to get very expensive. So there's still the time and the labour into it. If not, it's more at this stage because there's so much prep work and, you know, preparing the floor.
Yeah.
I think in future, if you're building boats and you knowing that we're going to be using that product, well then I think there will be different allowances that go into that to try and make that process a bit quicker as well. Cost-wise, I think it's probably going to be most the same.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Really
No
appreciate it.
worries.
This was super informative and interesting.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for
man.
showing us the real behind the scenes.
No worries. Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah,
We'll
thank
let
you.
your team get back to work. Thanks for
Thank
holding
you.
all the work for us.
I'll just send him on the lunch break right away.
Yeah,
It's
right.
12 o'clock already anyways.
Thank you.
This is Victoria.
Hey,
Hi,
nice to
Andy.
meet you.
Nice to meet
Enrico.
you.
Hey,
Nice to meet you.
mate. Welcome to engineering.
Awesome. So engineering and systems.
Yep, engineering and
That's your domain?
systems. Yeah, so encompassing all of the systems on Riviera boats.
Okay, perfect. Now it's starting to look like they're boats here.
Yeah.
You're still seeing parts and bits and pieces and molds.
It's very early in the process, but you do start to see them coming together now.
Ah, this is a good
So,
view here.
yeah, good access from the catwalk. So any one time we've got 10 boats in build. These two are quite early in the piece. As you can see, this is as the boats arrive from lamination, pretty bare and just ready for us to start the engineering process. This is a 60 sport yacht hull.
So you guys install all the like hydraulics for the swim platform, everything gets installed here?
Correct, yep, all at this stage. We do as much as we possibly can before the hull and deck are joined. That way the boats are complete as far as we can at this point, moving down the line.
So all the cabling and stuff for the superstructure coming together, that's all done here too?
Some of it is, and then some of it is done in the next stage in the deck. So when the two are joined together, then all those
Got it. So
components
these
come
are
together.
only holes right here
Only
on
hulls,
this side.
correct,
Okay.
yeah. And
But here we see already some cabling inside actually.
Yeah.
yes, we try and get as much in as we can at this stage, then obviously add to it as required. If it's more efficient to put it on the deck, then we put it on the deck and then join them together. This is the 585, that's hull number 3. So that's the new model, the
Oh,
brand
that's
new model.
585 we
Oh,
were just on yesterday.
We were just
Yeah.
on yesterday.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's number 3. So that one sold a heap at the boat show. So.
Okay, all number 3.
We like that model a lot, by the way.
Yeah, it's
yes,
good, hey?
loved it.
Again, this is a 72.
So what's that?
Exhaust.
Yep, that's the
Oh,
main engine
wow.
exhaust.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It is pretty big actually.
We've got the main engine exhaust coming down the hull. Main exhaust goes out through the bottom, and then there's a bypass in the top when you're at low speed. Coming further down the line here, this is a 46, quite a new model also. Again, similar sort of stage, but down towards the end, we'll see boats that are more complete. So the boats come in, we do a quality process when they arrive. As the guys fit them out, they use QC books to tick off at certain milestones. And then on completion of the boats, then we have another full QC process before they leave for the next stage.
This
Oh,
is
wow.
cool. Wow, look, the gyro's in.
Yeah, a little bit more complete this one. We've got engines, drives, gyro, genset, all the fuel, hot water systems. This one's a lot more complete, probably a couple of days away from completion, from QC and completion. It's our 54 sport yacht. So you can see where the actual garage extends into the engine room.
Oh, got
That's
it.
the support.
So that's gonna go on top.
Yeah,
on the
correct.
top. Got
So
it.
you can fit a tender inside the garage there.
It's pretty
Okay.
crazy.
Is the same team working on the same models, or they constantly?
No, the same, exactly right. The same team work on the same models, so we maintain that quality, that familiarization with the systems. So,
So if it's
we end
a
up with a nice
585, they're continuously working on 585s.
585s or 58 Flybridge.
Yeah.
The same crews do 2 or 3 different boats, but mainly concentrating on the same one too.
Can we show this one because I see it has MAN engines?
Yep, sure.
And V drives, I think, instead of IPS.
This one's conventional drive. It's a V drive.
Yeah.
This has got the V8 1300 MANs.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's just sort of part way through construction.
You custom construct the exhaust system, right? Because
Yeah, the exhaust risers come to us like that, and then we marry them up to our exhaust system, the GRP system, yes.
Very cool. And it's an underwater exhaust, right? Yeah.
Correct, underwater exhaust with a bypass above the water,
Yeah.
low speeds. So on the boats over 60 feet, we use the MAN and the V-Drive configuration. Up to 60 feet is the Volvo IPS system. So these two boats are 46 sport yachts. And you can see this one's pretty much complete, ready for handover. Pretty much all systems are in there now. Got hot water, pods, engines, air conditioning,
chillers, everything.
black tank, water tanks,
So
all the batteries.
And you tape everything off for the process when everything gets put together that just stays
Yeah,
clean?
we protect it as we go and then make sure that it's fully protected when it leaves us for the next stage, because it's a bit of fiberglass work when the hull and deck are joined.
Is that a washer and dryer?
Yep, washer dryer goes in now because we can use the crane.
Yeah.
Easier than breaking the backs of the guys
Love
after the
it.
fact.
What fascinates me the most is just the kind of a level of scheduling that's involved in,
Yep.
in all of this. How precise is it in terms of, like, you know, this boat's coming in today, it needs to be out, let's say, in 8 days.
Yep.
Is it consistently just hitting that, and it's just a like a
Yeah,
running machine,
give or take a day. We can pretty much hit the mark on most occasions. There've been a few challenges with back order, but the guys can catch up. They can do a little bit of overtime, or if they have a good run,
Yeah.
normally we hit the mark.
Wow, and
Yeah.
so it's just scheduling and slots on
Correct.
how they're coming in.
Yep.
To me, it's such an undertaking. The scheduling aspect of it is
And that's
fascinating.
an example of the QC books.
Yes,
that the
we
guys,
keep hearing about these books,
Yep.
but we've yet to see one.
Yeah, this is lamination,
Oh, look at
So
that.
this follows
through to
each
the
hole.
engineering.
Each hole has its own book.
3 books. Yeah.
3 books.
That's
3
books.
books,
Yep.
okay.
So lamination, engineering, electrical, and boat building.
The whole arrives here. It comes with
With
already.
books.
How many books does it come with?
3
when
books.
It's here?
3
Already
books
3,
and the
okay.
build list. So that's the specification for each particular hull. We do a full handover. We do an inspection. We make a list of any NCRs, any back-ordered parts, and then it gets passed on to the next stage.
What happens to these books
Gets-
when it's finished?
It gets filed up in design.
So you have a giant filing.
We do. We have
Of
lots
this.
of filing cabinets with lots of QC books.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
Wow.
I kind of want to see this filing cabinet.
Okay, so 46.
Okay.
It's very similar sort of
Yeah.
stage of completion.
Yeah, we were on board of one in Sydney.
Ah, cool. Yeah,
4600
nice.
Sport.
That's been a very, very popular boat. So
Yeah, it's a great boat.
that's why we got 2 in build it.
It's amazing how far aft the engines are sitting, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
allows
incredible.
for a lot more cabin space,
Yeah.
a lot more
Such a
accommodation.
great overview of the engine room from here, right? You can just like perfectly see it.
It's great. Get as much done at this stage as possible. As you can see, access, and it's a lot easier
Yeah,
to
it's
do.
still like
Yeah.
super, super easy.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And this one here, we have a 50505 line.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's earlier stage still, yeah.
So how many people are in your department?
In here, I'd say it's probably 40. In there, it's probably the same number. 6 in air conditioning, and probably about 35, 40 sparkies as well. Electricians.
Okay, yeah, so Sparkies?
Electricians, yeah.
Sparkies.
Sparkies.
I
Sorry,
like
it's an
that.
Aussie term.
I love it. Sparkies. Hopefully not Sparkies.
Yeah.
So like 120 something? like,
Something around
ish?
that lot,
Okay.
well, yeah.
So what about now? So
That's
we were like a
720.
580, so 700. We're counting up an hour
Okay,
900
yep.
in Riviera,
Yep.
so we're about 700 now.
Cool.
So we still have 200 more to see.
Okay, very good. We've got a set of engines just down on the floor here for you to have a look. That's a set of Volvo D11s. So that's the jack shaft that
So
connects.
where are they going?
They'll be going into this
Into
one.
this one?
Yeah, into the
Okay.
50.
That's why they're sitting right in
Correct.
front of it.
Yep. So they'll just lift them straight up and over.
That's a lot of money sitting on the floor here.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's just not a small undertaking building all these boats. So.
Yeah, no.
So you just lift them in with a crane?
Yep. And the pods, they'll slide them underneath the back and lift them up with a crane into the hull.
And then bolt them down? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, where are we going next?
That's pretty much it for engineering.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And so what's on that side?
that's boat building. So that's where a lot of the structural work gets done. So Shane's going to take you through that area.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Really appreciate it, Andy.
Thank you.
So we're going to
This is now fit out 1.
fit out 1.
Yes.
Okay.
This is Shane.
Hi,
This is
Shane.
Hey, Victoria.
Victoria.
Nice to meet you.
This is Rico.
Hey,
Rico,
Shane.
nice
Good to meet you.
Now Shane, did his apprenticeship here with Riviera,
Okay.
and he's been here for 27 years.
Were you like 10 when you started? Or what?
I'll take that. That's credit. That's good. Yeah.
Speaking of time flies when you're having fun, believe it or not, you guys have been on this tour with us for nearly an hour. And we have a lot more to show you. So let's pause here for now, and we'll see you next weekend for the final part 2. If you thought this part was fascinating, you are in for a real treat next Saturday.